And welcome to City on a Hill Kids Church Online.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Jamie.
I hope you had a great Christmas and a happy New Year.
We certainly did.
We're going to kick this year off with a series about the Bible.
The whole Bible. But we'll see how to do that after a time of worship.
Whoa, hold it right there. Do you have your backstage pass? All right, go on back.
Bible books. Bible books. We'll do the Bible book. Bible book. We'll do the Bible book. Bible books. We're gonna learn all the books from the bottom to the top and do the Bible book. Bible books. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. Do the Bible. Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, and Ruth. We'll do the Bible. Do the Bible. Yeah. First and Second Samuel, First and Second Kings, First and Second Chronicles. Makes me wanna sing and do the Bible. Do the Bible. Come on. Oh yeah. We'll do the Bible book. Bible book. We'll do the Bible book. Bible books. Soak it in your brain like water in a mop and do the Bible book. Bible books. Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs. Do the Bible. Do the Bible. Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Do the Bible. Do the Bible. Do the Bible. Yeah. Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, and Hosea. Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum. Do the Bible. Everybody do the Bible. Oh yeah. We'll do the Bible book. Bible book. 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 If you learn this song, you'll impress your mom and pop. So do the Bible book. Bible books. Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Made it through the old, now let's move on to the new and see what we can find. Made it through the old, now let's move on to the new. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, and Corinthians. 1 and 2. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, and Thessalonians. 1 and 2. First and Second Timothy, Titus, and Philemon. Hebrew, James, First and Second Peter, and John. 1, 2, 3, and don't forget Jude. We'll do the Bible book. Bible book. 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 We had a lot of fun. I wish we didn't have to stop. Do the Bible book. Oh yeah. We'll do the Bible book. Bible book. We'll do the Bible book. Bible book. Do the Bible book. Bible book. We'll do the Bible book. Bible book. Gonna learn all the books from the bottom to the top. Soak it in your brain like the water in a mop. If you learn this song, you'll impress your mom and pop. We had a lot of fun. I wish we didn't have to stop. Oh no. We'll do the Bible book. Revelation.
Happy New Year and welcome to 2024. We hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a great time ushering in the new year. We certainly did. We had a praise party. There was lots of food. There was lots of singing praises to God. The worship band sang songs, and then the little children sang their own songs, and then the teenagers had a shot at singing the songs, and then everybody sang together. Some songs were songs of worship and praise, and some songs we danced to, especially when it was closer to New Year's. It was great. We are beginning this year with a series on the whole Bible, learning about the whole Bible. It is actually a single story about a God who created the entire universe, who loves us, saved us, and continues to save us. I can hear some people asking, saved us from what? Well, actually, saved us, or is saving us from ourselves. Did you know that the word Bible comes from the Greek word biblia, and that means books? Yep. The Bible is a library of books. A library of 66 books written by 40 people over a period of more than 1,500 years. Even though that's the case, it's a single story. It's divided up into two sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. But it's still a single story. Today we're going to look at part of the first book in this library, and that is the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis tells us that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Everything that he created was perfect, was wonderful, and he topped off his creation by creating man, creating mankind. He created man in his image, in his likeness. And the names of these people were Adam and Eve, a man and a woman. They lived in a garden, a beautiful garden called the Garden of Eden. And they needed absolutely nothing because everything was provided for them in this garden. Unfortunately, the humans disobeyed God and they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. But that was not before God had promised that there was going to be someone sent that would be born of the woman that would save humanity. While in the Garden of Eden, man and God were in the same space because God used to come and visit Adam and Eve in the garden. It's just like you living in your house with the people that you live with. You're in the same space. When they got kicked out, God's space and man's space were separated. They were totally separated. And with man being separate from God, they became evil. They were bad and got worse and worse. They were so evil to a point that God had had enough and decided to start over. He decided to send a flood so as to wipe out every land, living and flying animal. But there was a man who found favor with God, and his name was Noah. God got Noah to build an ark and take a pair of every animal onto the ark, one male, one female. He did also take 7 pairs of some certain animals too. Also, Noah was to take his wife, his 3 sons and their wives onto the ark. And everyone was to go into the ark through that single door. So everyone that passed through that door was saved. When the floods came, every air-breathing animal was wiped out. Whether they were animals or human beings, they were totally wiped out. The only creatures that were saved were those that were on the ark. After the flood waters had dried up, all the creatures, including Noah and his family, got off the ark, and God made a promise. He made a promise saying that he would never destroy the earth again with water, with a flood, and to give a sign to all creation that this promise had been made by him and will never be broken. He put a rainbow in the sky. He then said to all the creatures that they should have lots and lots of children and spread over the entire earth. But you know mankind, you know human beings. Generations and generations later, the people gathered in one place and decided that they wanted to build a tower that would reach God. And remember, God said that human beings and creatures should spread out and have lots of children. Anyway, when they started building this tower, God decided that he was going to do something about it. He was going to cause people to spread out just as he had asked them to do. So, what he did was he made people speak and understand different languages. Can you imagine if you had asked someone to bring a bucket of water and they went off and brought a hammer? Isn't that confusing? Well, that's exactly what happened. And then there was so much noise because people were saying different things and, oh my goodness, babbling, confusion. Ooh! The tower ended up being called the Tower of Babel. They never did end up finishing building this tower because since they couldn't understand each other, although some people understood themselves, they now moved out of where this tower was being built to separate parts of the world where people stayed together that understood each other. And that's how people got spread across the whole earth. And that's the end of the story.
Happy New Year, everybody! It's good to see you. I am so excited about this new Bible overview series. Wasn't it brilliant hearing what Ivy's told us already? And to hear there are 66 books in the Bible. And look, what I've got here is a sort of bookcase showing them all. And I thought it would be fun to do a craft like this, but I thought this is going to be really tedious to draw. So do you know what? If you go on the internet, it's really easy to find ones like this to print off. So this one is from somewhere called ministryarc.com, but there's loads of different ones. So you can find one that you like the look of, and then you can print it, and then you can colour it in. And the reason I think this is a good idea is learning the books of the Bible, where they come, which one comes where, how they divide up into different groups, what the order is. It's so helpful. Do you know, when I was about 10 years old, I learned a song that told me all the books of the Bible in order. And it's been such a help to me through my whole life. I really, really am grateful to young me for learning that song. So I'm going to teach it to you. And we have done this before at City on a Hill Kids Online, so you might remember it. But what we're going to do this time is I'll sing you the whole song today, but each week we'll focus on learning a different section together. And of course, we're going to start at the start. So you can see on this one, what we've got is the books divided up. And the way I've coloured them in, there's the law, then we've got history books, poetry books, lots of prophets. They're quite tricky to learn because they've got tricky names. And then we get into the New Testament, the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. Some of you will already know those 4 words, so that's a good easy bit to learn. Then we've got Acts, the history of the early church. And then we've got the whole of this bit are all letters that Peter and Paul and James, different important characters in the early church, that they were writing to other churches or to other people. And then finally, the last book, Revelation, prophecy about the future of the church and the future of the world. So I'm not sure how much of this we're going to get through in our Bible Overview series, whether we'll just get to the end of the Old Testament or if we'll do the whole thing, but it's good to see the whole lot set out like this. So I suggest you get your mum or your dad or an adult to print off something like this for you, and you can colour it in, and it will help you learn the song. So I'll sing it through so you get the tune, and then we'll go through a few different bits together. So it goes like this. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth and Samuel. Samuel, Kings, Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms and Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, the Acts, Romans, Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Thessalonians, Timothy, Titus and Philemon, Hebrews, James, Peter, John, Jude, Revelation. And there we go. That is all 66 books of the Bible in a song. And some of the bits you might already know. You might already know Genesis at the start. You might even already know that the last book is Revelation. As I said, maybe you already know Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. And some of the sections, we've got the same name of the same book repeated, like Samuel, Kings, Chronicles. That's quite an easy bit to learn. Or down here, we've got Hebrews, James, Peter, John, Jude, Revelation. That bit's quite easy as well, isn't it? Hebrews, James, Peter, John, Jude, Revelation. But the bit we want to focus on today is the beginning. Ivy was talking to us just from the book of Genesis. So much happens in the book of Genesis. It takes quite a long time, even just as an overview, to go through that book. But what we're going to try and do today is we're going to try and just learn these first 5. So it goes Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy. Now in the song, there's actually kind of a break after Numbers, but that's not really where the break comes. That's only because of the tune. So it's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy. That's a hard one, isn't it? Deuteronomy. You say it. Good. So let's try and repeat those. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy. That's the first 5 books. Let's try singing it this time. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy. Well done. So practice those first 5. You can either get the words by printing off a Bible bookshelf colouring page like I've done and colouring it in, or you can just open to the first page in your Bible and look at the contents list and you'll get all the list of names there. So I'm looking forward to learning this song with you as we go through the series, but in the meantime, have a print off of these, have a colour in, it will get you really familiar with it, and that is going to be a blessing to you through your whole life. Well, lovely to see you, and I look forward to being back with you again next week. Bye for now.
66 books written by 40 people over a period of more than 1,500 years, and it's one story? Wow.
Wow, indeed. I wonder who the people who wrote the books are. I mean, to be fair, the clues are in some of the book names. Jamie, do you think you can name all 66 books of the Bible?
I'm not sure I can do that right now.
How about you guys at home? Set yourself a challenge and try learn all 66 books of the Bible by the end of this series. Moving on to something else. I can imagine all the noises and sounds at the Tower of Babel. Can you imagine if you go speak to your neighbour, having had plans the night before, and waking up, and you guys can't understand each other, you can't understand them, and they can't understand you. And then now imagine that happening to the whole group at the same time.
There would be so much confusion. And that's how people moved out and filled the earth. Those who could understand themselves moved to different areas in the world. And that's how we've got people groups.
A thought. If people obeyed God in the first place and spread out to fill up the earth, do you think that we would all be speaking the same language? I wonder.
I wonder too.
That's it for this week.
Till next time, bye!